From time to time, I wondered if I were to go back in the past to see my younger self before I played raid chess, if I were to teach myself the best lessons I learned to get to chess master faster, here is what I would say. So this is a list of the top 20 things I would tell my younger self to get to chess master faster. The first lesson I would tell myself is to play more rated games with the consistency in mind. So if you play more rated games, you lose more games and you learn how to get rid of the bad habits and learn what to do instead. So you want to adapt and change, get rid of the bad habits, encourage the good habits, and that way you can learn and have more lessons for yourself and analyze yourself for the better. The next thing I'll tell myself is to play stronger players as much as possible. Doesn't have to be a crazy, really a big jump of skill levels, but at least relatively high rated, let's say 200 elo points above you. So if you do that more often, you'll be like a sponge. You'll see how the higher players play, you play like more like them, and you know how to play and beat them more often, so that way you naturally get a progression. So this is never gonna be changing after you go higher and higher, but you just do it again with a higher rated opponents. Don't play for the draw, especially against high rated opponents. So if you play for the win against high rated opponents and you lose, then you learn a lot. And if you win, you'll be so happy, overjoyed, and you'll say that is a really good decision. I play for the win and it's against a high rated. Next one is to be increasing your endgame skills. So if you increase your endgame skills, you can have, in a sense, if you imagine, a second life in your game. So if you lose a pawn or have a worse position in other games, you can just take them to the endgame and you can outplay them for the win. So that way we have two chances to play, and if you lose one aspect of the game, let's say opening your middle games, then you can take it to the end game and you can outplay most often the people that don't study end games. Next thing I'll say is don't spend too much time on needless decisions. So if you have two rooks that can go with the same bump follow first, doesn't matter which one generally to go first, but if you want to double up, just choose one and have the other one follow it. Doesn't matter. Most often the key is to which one goes there first. So you want to make sure that you have more time in the most important decisions of the game. So if you have needless decisions, don't spend too much time. Next, I'm greatly encouraged to travel and play in tournaments that have new types of players. So with regionality and locality that's really close to home, then you're going to be having yourself from actually progressing and overall having a good, let's say, diversity of players and play styles. That way you can overall, let's say, grow faster and have more preparedness for the next level going up. Don't follow just conventions dogmatically. So if people just follow the rules dogmatically, and you're gonna have a big old blind spot to the truth and the really fruition of the positions in the moment. Sometimes you don't want to take towards the center with the pawns. Sometimes you don't want to, let's say, trade two pieces for rook and pawn. Sometimes it's really cool for it. So there's a lot of situations where the conventions go out the window. You gotta have critical thinking and actually think about things before you just make a move. Whenever your opponent makes a move, try to understand why they made it and what you want to do before you do anything. Sometimes people like to make traps. Some people like to make threats. Make sure you understand exactly what your opponent wants to do because of their last move. And just don't blindly just follow your plans without being cautious what they're trying to do in the meantime. Sometimes people just have a blister attack, but they get back rank checkmated. So it's really helpful to think about your opponent's move every single move. Learn and understand as many tactical concepts as you can. So the more motifs and tactical concepts you have in your pocket, different tactical themes, you're going to be overall a better tactical player. So what I do is to try to do puzzle survival mode, and just every time, basically I have a session that I've had learning a lot of motifs and things to look out for that blows my mind every time. So the more you do that, the more you build up your tactical foundation to think about things and look for things, then you're going to be overall right in the right place. If you don't know what to do, improve your worst piece. A lot of times people don't have a plan or idea what to do going forward. They don't have a plan. So a good fail-safe is that look at your pieces and see what can be improved to overall have your positions be in a better state of mind. So I guarantee you, A lot of times, if you just do this enough, like magic, you're just gonna have a plan because your pieces are so good that is really hard to go wrong, and maybe your opponent just overextends themselves and make himself a weakness or something bad to target. Trade pieces only if it benefits you. Sometimes you don't need to capture pieces just because you can. You're not playing checkers, but you're playing chess. So only trade pieces if it benefits you. Assume your opponent will play the best move. A lot of times people try to play for hope chess. They do something really, let's say, dubious and hope that the opponent plays another dubious or bad move in hopes that they get a win really quickly. So a lot of times once you go up the rigs, that you cannot count on this at all. So you want to assume that your opponent plays the best move always. Look for forcing moves. Just like in tactics puzzles, you look for checks, captures, and threats. But not just for you, look for your opponent's checks, captures, and threats. Because if you do capture, they don't have to capture back, they can do another capture, which is called an intermezzo, zwischenzug, or in-between move. So you always have to be aware of those things that can be, let's say, defensive resources to wiggle out or just counterattack. You want to always look for forcing moves for you and your opponent. When you're behind in a chess game, trade pawns, not pieces. So a lot of times when you have, let's say, all the pawns off the board, you have a complicated endgame where you're, let's say, down a knight or a bishop, but you have a rook and bishop versus rook, or rook and knight versus the rook. So it's really hard for them to actually squeeze out a win. And basically the motion is you want to make sure that we have all the pawns off the board, and there's no way to have them promote another queen, and you can save yourself the trouble from losing. So don't trade too many pieces if you have extra space in initiative. So if you're attacking somebody for the checkmate attack, they are going to be happy over the moon if they trade off all of your attackers, especially trading off the queen. So if you just trade off the queen, and your attack will be just nullified, diluted to basically nothing. So don't trade too many pieces if you have extra space or initiative. Think longer if you have identified a critical position, or in other words, if you have an important decision to make. So, contrary to what I said earlier, that don't spend too much time on needless decisions, but this is where you have the time invested that you want to think about an important decision to make, for better or for worse. You want to make sure that you make the right decisions, or else instead of losing your badge or losing the game. Never underestimate your opponent just because they're lower rated than you. Doesn't mean that you have a guaranteed win if you have a higher rating, even if you're a higher rated like 500 points. Sometimes your opponent has, let's say, a trick or a swindle in your pocket. So just don't play mindless chess. Don't play sleeping in the board. Don't play and turning your brain off because the rating is higher for you. You want to have, actually, like before, always assume your opponent makes the best move, and just don't underestimate them because they only have a lower rating. Don't play mindlessly during a capture chain. What I mean is, don't play move by move without autopilot, turning off your brain, and just capture things mindlessly. Because things can come up unexpectedly. You have a back-to-back checkmate, or you have missed opportunity to do something else. Just don't follow the, let's say, mindless capture chain. But make sure that you critically think every move is if you can have a secret weapon or switch and sook or something like that for your opponent and also yourself. Try different openings, see which ones match your playstyle and actually matches your comfort zone. I learned this lesson far too late in my chess career. In fact, I was 2000 rated to learn this one, and I learned that it doesn't matter if you have a plus 0.2 advantage from the computer. It's only matching if you have a 0 advantage, but you have actually a good psychological advantage. You know how to play the middle game flow and actually win the game. The last one is very important. Get comfortable with open and tactical positions, as well as flows and positional games. So if you get both aspects of the game really down pat, then you're really good. A lot of times, people, even masters, are really good at one of them, not both. But if you get good at both, then you're gonna be a superstar and a master in no time. Hey, check this video out to make sure that you get more important information to bring your chess to the next level.